Welcome to EnVision Center News, where we discuss community impact and involvement with today's nonprofit leaders and philanthropists.
Karen, thank you for joining us on the podcast. You are the local Coats for Kids lady. And now I think I grew up in Washington, and I think wherever you are in the country, you've heard Coats for Kids. You've heard the term, you've heard advertisements for it. Is Coats for Kids the same? Are there chapters, or is it just a catchy phrase that everybody who collects coats in the winter uses?
Well, thanks for having me today, Connie. I'm always happy to talk about Coats for Kids. Nationwide, in the time that I've done Coats for Kids, I've heard people talk about in the past when they were children that they had a Coats for Kids program in Pennsylvania, or Missouri, or in Washington, or wherever. So I don't know that anyone really has the name branded so much. But
there isn't like a headquarters for Coats for Kids.
I don't think there is.
Okay.
But in our region, I would say there are not official chapters. But in our region, we had a couple of benefactors for, now it'll be about, the way I understand the story, about 40 years ago. And they were for the Spokane region and all the way up the Panhandle, up into North Idaho. And those folks were Tomlinson, Bob and Lynn Tomlinson, and the folks that own KXLY News. And so that's why we see the annual KXLY News push for Coats for Kids. And they're so involved because they've been involved from the beginning. So,
okay. And how long has this regional chapter been going? Do you know?
Well, I think it's been going on for about 40 years now.
40 years, okay.
Yeah. I've been involved in about 11 years. And over the years, there's been other community coat programs that would blossom up in Bonner and Kootenai County. And when I got involved 11 years ago, it occurred to me that we needed somebody to coordinate all of this. We needed a community coat drive. And so one of the issues that folks had working with Coats for Kids directly is getting the coats laundered. And so one of the important parts of being a sponsor for Coats for Kids is a cleaning service. And so a lot of the coats would go all the way into Spokane to whatever that sponsor is. They'd clean them and return them to Kootenai and Bonner County. Well, the folks in Kootenai and Bonner said, I don't know. I want to keep my coats for my kids and my donations in my county. So when I got involved 11 years ago, that made a lot of sense to me. And so I brought that together independently in Kootenai and Bonner County. So there was a lady, and many of you out there may know of her. She owned Sonia's Cleaners for years. So partnered with her to clean all the coats in Kootenai County. And
how many coats is that roughly year to year?
It would be somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 coats.
How long does that take to launder all that?
Gosh, we used to have such a time. The key was they used to collect them all at the end, and then they'd have this massive laundry service, wash them all, and then get them all back out to the distribution sites. Well, I don't think we were serving the population best that way, because you had to be there on one specific day or 2 or 3 days, and if you weren't there, then you didn't get a coat. So it made sense to me, if we clean them along the way and we start to hand them out sooner, we're going to meet our population's need better. And so we just localized everything. So we had teams in Kootenai County, and we had a team in Bonner County. And years ago, New Way Cleaning, the owner there, she was lovely, and she would put the money in the machines for us and provide the soap, but they wouldn't do the labor. So agents from Tomlinson Sotheby's company, we would go in there and do the laundry, or take it home and do the laundry. All the coats are new or gently used. We love new ones, but we make sure the gently used ones are washed and spot cleaned, and the best that we can do, and make sure the zippers are good and the snaps and that sort of thing. And we also stress getting lighter jackets like sweatshirts and stuff, because today's winter coats aren't that warm, and in North Idaho the weather, you need to be layered really. So we encourage people people to take as many of those sweatshirt jackets that they can put under the winter coat to make them warmer with hoods or whatever that we have. So, but anyway, we just set up cleaning everywhere, and we kept the coats localized. And for many years, most of the folks in Bonner County will remember us over at the Bonner Mall. And there was a volunteer there. She worked at the mall. Her name was Betty. If you're out there listening, Betty Stefik. And Betty and I teamed up, and she made sure that we had a space at the Bonner Mall every year for our Coats for Kids. And that's when it really got brought together, because it was not like a mad dash to go grab a coat, right, on a Saturday. We had it hung up on coat racks and sizes and sexes, and we cover everything from infants all the way up, and we get tremendous donations from loving people in the area, women that would make little baby snowsuits and stuff. You get 10 of those at a time, or a big old sack of hand-knitted scarves and gloves and that sort of thing. So for many years, we had Chris Crocker went out to the Bonner Mall from KXLY Weather News. She's our local regional spokesman for Coats for Kids, and she graced our community a few times up here, and we had cameras up here, and it was really fun. Kootenai Elementary School. At one time, we were in all the elementary schools. But Kootenai is...
And by in, you mean you had like a little...
We had a collection box, right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no.
You didn't distribute, only collected.
We collected there, and then we encouraged people to go to the mall, because the most important part of this is not just the donations, it's also making sure that we get those coats out to people who need them, and if they don't know where they can get them. And the mall just made it lovely. Nobody likes to be in need of a coat, but if you need a coat, you'd like to go with the self-respect, like everyone else, shopping and select a nice coat for yourself or your children. And I noticed over the years there's so many parents that wouldn't take a coat. So when I was working the site, we'd have different people working the site. You encourage them. You'd say, "Mom, you need a coat." You could tell they need a coat, right? I've tried to over the years, and our volunteers, we take name and numbers. Some sizes are very hard to find, and we'll try to get that person a coat if we can find that size. And then also, if we have the funding for it, Bonner has been, the folks in Bonner County are so kind, but folks like Lighthouse, Salad Dressing, Encoder, a lot of our companies here have donated over the years. And
just donated cash so that you can go get those coats and the sizes and things like that. Yeah,
that's right. And it allows me to go shop, or other volunteers to go shop. We cut deals with Walmart over the years. Now nobody can beat Costco is mostly where we get the coats.
Okay.
We can't get them much less than that if we go to buy new coats, and they have a nice variety of all ages. And I try to take the money and distribute so many sizes and find out what sizes do we really need, and try to fulfill that need where we need it. When we were in all the schools, I invited principals to, if you know of a family that has a special need, or a child that needs a coat or a snowsuit or whatnot. So I've been known to take bags of coats to schools and pass out in principal's office, and make sure that they will get that child the coat that I've brought to them. So just love working with people, trying to help people keep warm. It just seems like it's a basic right of life to have food and shelter and water and to be warm. And we live in we live in a not so warm climate with 4 seasons out of the year. So a coat's pretty important.
Sure.
For everyone.
Yeah. So where are you distributing them now?
Well, when the Bonner Mall and Betty retired and the Bonner Mall no longer, this all happened before COVID, the folks in our community probably noticed a shift. During the COVID, we kind of stayed out of the schools, except for Kootenai School. They kept inviting us back year after year. There's a collection box now at Kootenai School as well. But we partnered with the food bank. the Bonner Community Food Bank. And so we are now handing out coats. I think she'll be starting here around the October 28th. And handing coats out at the food bank, and also at the food bank up on 175 South McKinley Avenue in Priest River. And then our local food bank is at 1707 Culver's Drive right here in Sandpoint on the backside of Boyer there. So, and the beauty of that is they have some wonderful volunteers. And in the beginning, we were all cramped in their front headquarters. But if you've ever been to the food bank, it's quite lovely, and there's a lot of lovely, nice people over there. And we got them set up with racks and coats. And the beauty of Debbie Love and her team is that she hands those coats out until they're all gone.
So you typically do get rid of all of them?
Yes.
There's not a coat left usually?
Yes, not in Bonner County. And Debbie makes sure. We advertise that we'll hand out through November in case we don't have enough coats. So we don't want people to be disappointed. But even after November, Debbie maintains whatever inventory is left, and she makes sure that they all go out that door before winter's over. We get a lot of people that come through in December and January, and so it's important that we have a little bit. Now, some years in Kootenai County, and in some years if I've had a lot of extra money, I will store coats, and then we're ready to spring ahead on the next year. And we've got an early stock because, as I said, trying to keep the flow through that period of time rather than waiting for a big burst of trying to clean all those coats at the end and get them where they need to be. So, and it allows the public. And this year, I'm very happy to say, I know this is about Bonner County, but any of you folks that might hear this or know people in Kootenai County, the St. Vincent de Paul Help Center has created the distribution center this year down there. And they, too, this year are going to man it themselves, help people. We have mirrors to try on coats. We're going to put up coat racks down there. And those ladies have volunteered on their own time to stay open till 5 p.m., 5 days a week, all the way through the month of November. And I'm happy to say we've never been open that long in Kootenai County. So I'm very happy that all the coats, because sometimes we have, 6 or 10 bags left over. And I'm glad to say that hopefully we won't this year, and they'll all get passed out. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And where are all where are a few, you don't necessarily have to list them all, but where are some of those drop-off sites? Maybe hit the highlights or the ones that people like to donate to the most, or where there's the most foot traffic.
Yeah, well, kind of how Coats for Kids works. We have a poster every year, and companies sponsor Coats for Kids. It's not just on KXLY News. They are a major sponsor, and we appreciate them. But we have sponsors this year: Alasco Cleaning, Fred's Appliances, Goodwill, Papa Murphy's, and STCU credit unions. So you can go to any of those locations in Bonner or Kootenai County and drop off your coat. Locally here, the Papa Murphy's is over in Ponderay there behind the McDonald's, for those that don't know. And we also have Safeway was a sponsor of Coats for Kids, Safeway Albertsons for years. And our local Safeway manager, Rob Fox, wonderful fellow, he has continued to maintain his box at our local Safeway. So that's very nice. So you can drop it off there. The community's used to that, and they bring in a lot of coats for us there at that Safeway. So that's really nice. And one of our other local sponsors this year are the Selkirk Association of Realtors, and so you can donate there. And all my fellow realtors in the Realtor Association, I challenge you with a $25 check or a coat to drop off to bring for Coats for Kids. And then, of course, you can drop it off at either of our Tomlinson Sotheby's offices at 200 Main Street, and also, again, this year at 503 Cedar at our new location on the main drag up there. So
cool. And you talk about having to wash the coats and check them and make sure the zippers are good and all that stuff. Is that a problem? Or are a lot of people dropping you off coats that they really shouldn't be dropping off.
Connie, when you work with a charity this long, I think the beauty is to keep it in front of people's eyes, make it something they can understand every year. And I can tell you, when I started this 11 years ago, the quality of the coats have improved just tremendously.
Because you educated people in that, or it just improved?
It just improved.
Oh.
And I think it's because you keep the program out there. It's like, oh yeah, and I remind people and adults, grown-ups, bring your coats in. There's a lot of grown-ups that need coats, but we get so many more new coats than
people
we
who
used
just like
to
to go
get.
shopping and they're like, I'll go buy a coat.
Yeah. I had a wonderful donator. She called me the other day and she said, I haven't seen your posters anywhere, but I saw you in the newspaper. And so I found your phone number and I called you. She said, where do I bring these coats? So I said, take them over to 200 Main. And this sweet woman, she got very excited. She said, I love this charity. It's so simple to do. It's so easy to do. Makes you feel so good. And she said every year after Christmas, she hits all the sales.
Yeah.
And she shops it all the way through. There is no coats left, and she's bought up a bunch on sale. And when she dropped off the coats, I had 4 large garbage bags full of coats. So that is probably a good 40 coats this gal dropped off to me. So I'm forever grateful for folks like that. So, but to the quality of coats, the fixing, I will. I used to fix them and mend them myself, and if they're still worthy of doing that, it's one more coat that somebody can wear. Years ago, we were able to get the dry cleaning paid for, but we can't get that done anymore. So what we do,
because you're not getting enough donations?
We don't get enough donations, and dry cleaning has become difficult. You have to send it all. When I had Sonia's, she would do it all for me, but she doesn't do it anymore, and now it all gets sent down to Post Falls. So what I do I will gently wash something that is wool or whatever. Be careful with it. I'll clean leather with leather cleaner. I'll steam coats out, to try to freshen them and take them through, and let them know so that everything that's out there is nice and presentable. We don't have anything out there that I know sometimes at Goodwill, not everything gets washed. But we make sure everything's been washed and sanitized. And
so much work.
Yeah. Well, it's been kind of fun. We have a guest cabin, so at our house we have 2 washers and dryers, and over the years, my husband and I we just set up a whole routine, and we've got bags and coats everywhere. And we just keep washing them and feeding them back to the sites, and until we're all clean and done. I always feel like, boy, when the last load is done and it's, now it's just people coming to get them, I'm always very excited and hope there are enough, but and look forward for it again next year. So all these people that are you and others who are collecting and distributing and doing all that, it's all volunteers, because Coats for Kids is not it's not a chair. You're not the executive director of Coats for Kids. Do you even have a title, or how? No. You're just unofficially. My broker said to me years ago when he handed this, because nobody was taking care of it for the company, basically. Okay, and we were for many years out of the 40 a sponsor. Our logo was across the logos. To have these logos up here, that can cost a company anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. Okay, so those are the folks that are sponsoring Coats for Kids every year. Now, those sponsors can change every year. Okay, which we've seen that come and go, and then the posters all change and whatnot. But because it's been a heartfelt thing for our company, our founders of our company. I just continue to do it because, somebody's got to help get the coats out. Keep it going, right?
Yeah,
keep it going. I did learn to pare it down. If I have more help, the more volunteers, the more boxes we can put out. I used to have it in all the schools. I mean, we used to collect, I had 50 locations in Kootenai County, but it was, and we worked with the Christian school down there. We worked at the high school, a couple of the high schools, where instructors made it the students' community program. We had a lot of fun doing that a couple of years with Coeur d'Alene High School, and those kids just brought in the coats, and they learned how to work their own school, how to market it, how to charity and fundraise, and we brought the cameras in for them, and they had a really good time with it. So it was good. It was fun. So it also teaches people about caring and giving back. And it's a great recycle program for those of you that like to recycle. It's a super idea to do. So,
what are your biggest needs other than, if you need shopping therapy and you want to go buy those new coats, do that, but you need more volunteers, you need somebody with that big washer and dryer who can help you out, you need distribution help, collection help. Where do you need help?
Where do I need the most help? Well, probably just in the collections, but we don't have that much. We don't have that many locations anymore, so it's pretty manageable. And I have a couple of my associates at Tomlinson. They're helping me this year. Desiree Staples she always hangs in there and helps me. So I'm doing pretty good. I think what we need mostly is to remind people, clean out your closets and bring them in. Even if they're not clean, bring them to me. We'll get them clean. Don't forget about babies. Everybody always forgets about the babies. You can go to, for those of you that don't have anything in your closet, I know money is tight for everyone right now. Inflation has been really high. So wait till they go on sale and donate them for next year.
Yeah.
Or if you can afford it, go buy a baby suit that is like $20, and know that you kept some infant warm for the winter. It's just it's an easy thing to do, and I appreciate this community and everyone in the county that helps. And I want to remind everyone, you don't have to be a member of the food bank to collect a coat, and the coats are free.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. You can walk in. We do ask something that's important, that you can take as many light jackets as you want for your children, your mom or your dad, or you can bring all the kids in, but you can come and take for the kids that you don't have with you. But we ask that you only take one heavy winter coat per kid.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure there are more coats out there for more kids. So sometimes we get people that are, mostly people are really good though. They only come in and they only take what they need. But I want people to feel comfortable about coming in and shopping. It's okay. There's going to be somebody to help you there to find a size or whatever you need, and no questions asked.
Yeah.
You just need, it's free, completely free. So we do there's something that I do that Caxel Y asked me to do years ago, which is counting the coats. And so I make sure that I get that all done before they go out for distribution. And the reason why we do that is so we can track the need. Yeah. Right?
And it's been going up or going down?
Yeah, it's been going up exponentially. Yeah. And I also want to remind everyone it's Food Bank Month, so donate to the food bank. There's a lot of people hungry out there, too.
Do it all. Get the coat, get the cans.
That's right. Do it all. Do it all.
Awesome. Well, is there any details we forgot, something I didn't ask you that we need to make sure folks know? We talked where can they drop, where can they pick up, needs, anything else Coats for Kids related that you want the people to know?
I just want everyone to know that I have great gratitude when it starts to get chilly every year. I have great gratitude for everyone out there in the community who has ever given to Coats for Kids or in any program, even if it's not this community. It's just such a simple charity to be a part of, and very easy and so necessary. So I just want everyone to know how grateful I am for all the support for all these years. So, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen, and we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. For more information, you can go to crecIdaho.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again soon.